Hi everyone, my name is Jenny Footle with Beautiful Feet Wellness. Welcome to 5 Minute Fridays, where hopefully you're going to challenge your fitness for 5 minutes and you're also going to learn more about human trafficking. This is a great thing to share for people who have goals for the new year and also want to do something about the fight against human trafficking. You can spread awareness by sharing these videos and also sharing more about what we do at Beautiful Feet Wellness to help survivors heal and thrive. So today we're going to do arms, so I hope you're ready. You don't need anything. If you want to be extra, you can pick up water bottles or cans of food out of your house, but you don't need anything. I will tell you how to make it harder as we go. All right, and we got the timer. So I know last week we went for 6 minutes, but it's okay. I think you survived, hopefully, because you're back again. So here we go. All right, so to begin with, you're just literally going to squeeze your fist here, and then you're going to begin to take some arm circles. Now, if you're like me and arms may not be your strongest thing, you can just do some nice, gentle rock back and forth. This will kind of distract you from it, and you're like, well, this really isn't that bad. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, when you're here for 5 minutes, it gets a little rough. So if you need to make it easier, you're just going to not squeeze your fist, okay? Or drop whatever you have. Or you can do this nice rock back and forth to kind of distract you from what's really going on. Yes? We all have our coping strategies, I guess you could say. So when it comes to, we're just going to back up the truck a little bit. So Human Trafficking 101. What exactly is human trafficking? Human trafficking is the use of force, fraud, or coercion and to exploit someone for labor or sexual acts. And so the thing that's really important, we're going to switch here and go the other direction. So the thing that's really important to note here is also that what is exploiting someone for labor or sex? So that's using them without paying them fairly or against their will, right? Force, fraud, coercion. You're telling them that they're gonna come out, like you're gonna give them something, but then you're lying, right? Sometimes this feels like you're like, oh, this feels like my work situation sometimes. Okay, but it does get more serious than that, right? But also be aware that like some people don't get paid at all. Whenever it comes to people who are coming maybe across borders and they were promised, a visa to work, and then in reality they get here and, then it's held over their heads, like if you don't do, what I tell you to, then you're here illegally because I have control over your work visa. And so there's a lot of different manipulation tactics that are used. Alrighty, and then you're going to go ahead and press forward. Yes, spread your fingers nice and wide. Another thing to note about human trafficking in the U.S. is that if you're under the age of 18, there's no such thing as child prostitution. Let me just say that. There's no such thing as child prostitution. So if you are under the age of 18 and someone is selling you for sex or labor and benefiting off of you, then it is automatically human trafficking. Flip your hands, press backwards. So you don't get a say in that. Yeah, if you're under 18 and someone is using you for sex, it is human trafficking by default. So what does this mean? It doesn't mean that someone's paying you, because let's be honest, a lot of human trafficking victims do not get paid. That's the whole, especially for labor trafficking, right? But someone is making money off of them and off of their labor or sex. Alrighty, this one's kind of hard. All right, and then press down. All right, so you're pressing down, but so let's just dive into this juvenile, under 18. What does that look like? So it may not always be you might not always be exchanging sex for money. This can often look like housing, safe place to stay. Maybe it's bus fare, maybe it's food. So food, shelter, basic needs. If you're trading sex for that and flip your hands, press up, and you are under the age of 18, it is automatically human trafficking. So you can't legally consent to that. So just putting that out there. So if someone like friends, family, maybe your friends, maybe you, and you realize like, oh, I've been trading sex and getting something in return and I'm under the age of 18, definitely check in. There's some resources you can call the Human Trafficking Hotline, and they can give you resources from there that are really helpful. Yes? All right, and then you're going to go up and down. It should be burning a little bit by now. But definitely get some help because it could get a lot worse. It may seem really innocent right now and they're meeting your needs, but in reality it could get substantially worse. And there are other better ways to meet your needs, to be honest. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes that you may not even be aware of. And it may seem really innocent and you may seem like you're the one benefiting from it, but in reality they're benefiting a lot more from it than you are. Go ahead and bring your arms in and out. Yes. And then it just makes you more vulnerable to more things in the future, and also does a lot just for the wiring of your brain. You may be incurring trauma that you didn't even know, and trust me, like whenever you get older, you'll definitely become more aware of that. So just something to know, something to look out for whenever your friends like meet people online, or you know, they're getting something in benefit, or they show up with a lot of gifts. Go ahead and let that go. You just hit 5 minutes. Congrats. But if your kids or your friends are showing up and they have nice gifts, it doesn't even have to be from an older boyfriend. It could even be someone in their school. This is very common. Or their nails are painted, or all of a sudden, you know, they have more provision for their basic needs, or even extra than they had before. It is definitely some red flags that you might want to ask them about, alert someone about, or again, call that human trafficking hotline. Google the National Human Trafficking Hotline. It's put out by Polaris Project, and it's a really good resource. Even if you're a bystander, even if it's not happening to you and you suspect it's happening to someone around you, please go ahead and give that hotline a call, and then they'll help you figure out what to do and how to best help that person in that situation. All right, well, thank you for tuning in, and I hope that your arms are sore, and if they're not, you can start the video over and do it again, maybe with a friend, and help them learn more about human trafficking. Have a good one.